Good evening, guys. In 10 minutes, we're going to smash through the top 10 questions we get asked when buying and selling off the plan. Stay tuned.
Good evening. Good evening, Billy. How are you? Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How's your day been today?
It's been busy. Like, we're 8 o'clock on a Monday night.
Still going.
I got in at 7:30 this morning to fire up one of these shows and back in at 7:30 tomorrow. So
Beautiful. You love it, don't you?
it's busy. Yeah, it's good. Look, I think tonight we're going to unpack a big topic and we're going to spend a minute on each question. So we're not going to bore you. We're going to get through these 10 questions quickly. You've actually just come into sales and helping people with buying off the plan.
Yeah. So we just started on the development down there, Havana, on Oaks Avenue. So that's pretty well where I've spent the majority of the past week and a half, and it's been a really good experience actually understanding how off the plan works, why it is viewed to be scary by a lot of people.
Yep.
But it's actually really, really beneficial for everyone who's trying to buy and get into the market a little bit cheaper than what the rest of the stock out there is.
Yeah, there's skepticism, that's for sure. And it doesn't help what's really happened in the last 5 years. The media has got a hold of some horror stories and run them through, the likes of newspapers and a current affair. People get scared by buying off the plan because it's their trusted news source. But the reality is, when you're a DY local and you're buying in DY, whether it's established or new, it's effectively the same, risks. When you're at the point of buying something that's at the final stages of being handed over, like it's,
Exactly.
at the point now where you can walk clients through.
Yeah.
When you're buying off concept drawings, a little bit differently, but we're going to get into that now. So question number one, how do I know the developer will actually finish the project and on time?
Yeah. Everyone has a deadline to hit. All developers have a deadline to hit. They can either hit it, and if they don't, then there's repercussions and charges that they face. So they're pretty well pushing. I know Havana, for example, they are pumping, like they're doing big hours.
Yeah.
6 days a week they're working down there on Saturdays just to kind of hit that deadline. So they do have deadlines to hit, and majority of the time they do hit them.
They do. Yeah, look, there's actually contract clauses that protect you as the buyer. A sunset date, as an example, is a date where if the property is not ready to settle, yes, it can be sometimes pushed out, but a sunset date is effectively a day that in the contract that protects you as the buyer, where you can rescind the contract, get your deposit back if the property has been delayed and that kind of draws a line in the sand for you.
Exactly. We'll go number two. We'll go, what happens if the market drops before settlement?
Yeah, valuations are done on settlement. Rarely does the market, you fluctuate large amounts in between exchange and settlement, particularly in the Northern Beaches. In many cases, our buyers see the property actually grow in value, so that only helps. But effectively, it's just pushing, numbers around the page. If there is a shortfall, generally the buyer comes up with cash to top it up.
Yeah.
Question number three: can the floor plan or finishes change from what I've seen in the brochure?
So there is a little bit of a grey area with this one. I do know with some developments they do have kind of like a 5% rule where the floor plan can change within that 5% in terms of, it could be measurements, it could be,
they call it variances.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah.
Sometimes measurements, sometimes allocated parking positioning. That is ultimately the risk taken on by the purchaser. However, if you get through to like stage 3 final release sales, at that point you can generally walk through the building and
it's nearly set in stone. You can
takes all that away.
See and put perspective as to what you're buying.
Yeah. Question 4, where do I actually pay the deposit and is it refundable? Great question.
Yeah. So in terms of, are you talking the 5% or 5 or 10% deposit?
Yep.
Yes. Generally, it is made upon purchasing. correct me if I'm wrong, I am very new to this and picking it up, but it is paid into the real estate's trust account.
Yeah, either held in solicitor's trust account or the agent's trust account. The thing about a trust account is the developer is not using that to spend the money for the purchase. The deposit is held as a pre-sale. The pre-sales need to be held in trust account for the banks to, get for the builder to get a line of finance to go and build. So no, your money's not being spent. Yes, it's sitting in a trust account. Is it refundable? Only if the contract is not met by the developer. If you were to not complete on your purchase, that's a different story. But that's the same with any other property purchase.
So the next one looking is, what protection does the buyer have if the project is delayed or cancelled?
You got your sunset date clause in there. That protects you if the property is delayed or cancelled. You get your full deposit back. But the thing I point out, that particularly with buying and selling in DY from a local to a local, is it's under your nose and you can actually see and watch the project progress. So it's a bit different if you're buying international or interstate. You can't see the project, but where you might be driving past it and you're comparing buying a property down the road that's finished or off the plan that's not yet finished, you can see the progress along the way. And I think that's all in the reputation, and it's all in the track record of the developer.
Perfect. So the next one will go, how
can I sell on the property? Can I sell the property before completion?
Don't believe so.
Generally not.
No. So it obviously, I think also depends what's in the contract, but majority of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's not really an option. If you do want to sell, I suppose you can just back out and forfeit a percentage.
Well, generally clients will settle the property and then resell as a brand new property after settlement.
And that is where we see the growth as well, especially if you're buying in the early stages. You can make nearly 5% growth just from buying it in the early stages to completion and actually selling it.
Yeah, sometimes more. We've seen some incredible growth, and particularly at settlement, once occupation has been achieved and you're able to move in straight away with flexible settlements. That's what people are waiting for. People also ask, what are the ongoing costs after settlement? So you've got your strata, your water, your council, your outgoing and rates.
Yeah, so generally strata and kind of all your outgoings are normally given out beforehand. Like I know with this Havana project down the road, we've kind of got the estimations of what they're all going to cost. And again, it kind of depends on building, doesn't it? The amenities they have.
Yeah.
But generally it's all kind of outlined on or before settlement.
Yeah, you can get approximate rates, and your solicitor can request those as well ahead of time. But yeah, the outgoings are no different to something established. At the end of the day, they're establishing within an owners committee, a sinking fund, capital works fund, admin funds for the day-to-day running, and it's just about building those funds up.
Yeah. So the next question, will the property be worth more, the same, or less by the time it's been built? I think we did touch on this obviously throughout the talk tonight. At least we see on the Northern Beaches, it's very rare for them to go down in value once completed. So the short answer to that is, I guess it kind of depends on the location, on where you're at.
Pick your market.
If you are local on the Northern Beaches and you buy before it's built, there is a very high chance that you will make money before on settlement.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely got to pick your market. There's a great saying, supply is the enemy of capital growth. And in a suburb where brand new apartments are so scarce, supply, I will say it again, is the enemy of capital growth. If there's too many of anything coming into a marketplace, it's just going to erode away at any capital growth. So if you're actually buying something brand new and then it's being delivered in years' time, and that's happening across the board, some suburbs are seeing, not just hundreds of properties, but thousands of properties being delivered at one time. It saturates the market. So you need to kind of be cautious about where you buy.
Yeah. So that's like, take DY, for example. I think the Havana building was just sub 80 units in there, and across the road, Castle was at 240.
Yep, which will be about 18 months later. So
Yeah.
across the suburb, there's about 5 active developments that are running. Only 2 of them are being sold privately now off the plan. Everything else is finished. They're all different price points. A lot of them are price points that appeal to owner occupiers, meaning they buy, move in, don't resell. So the investors actually have a really good run from the purchase to selling if there's the short-term plan.
Yeah, it's not really flooding the market in
No.
that sense.
No. And on settlement, within about a 12-month period, you generally get people that will sell within 12 months of selling. And that kind of flushes out the first wave of resales. And after that, there's generally not that much competition. It's always sought after being a brand new building, particularly when they look good, they run well, and they're modern.
Exactly.
Final question.
We've got here, how do depreciation and tax benefits actually work for off the plan?
Well, I do want to ask you, how many investors have you had coming through, like the 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units?
Yeah, so look, at least the ones that I've dealt with, I'd probably say for every, say, 3 groups, 2 have been investors.
Yeah, wow.
Which is really good, because I feel like newer buildings, they rent easy. At least I've spent the last 18 months in rentals before coming over to sales. And the trend that I kind of see is all the newer blocks, when we get a unit in the Meriton, or somewhere across the road, or even the building we're in now, they just lease out like hotcakes.
Yeah, there you go.
But it has been nearly even, but I have seen a lot of investors come through, and I know Verdun just sold one last week to an investor as well. So it's
Well, the depreciation and tax benefits are definitely outweighed on a new building compared to something, like in DY, we see a lot of buildings that are 60s, 70s, 80s. You get depreciation not only on the internal, but on the building itself. And so for a 2-bedroom unit, there's some really good tax benefits there. You can actually buy a tax depreciation report for your property. Whether it's new or established, I recommend this. Done it myself. You can buy a tax depreciation report for your property, and that gives you a schedule each year as to what's deductible.
Yeah.
And for an investor, it's great. Really, really good money well spent. So, yeah, the rents are there, the premium on the rents is there, and the depreciation's there. So it's kind of like a double header for them, and that's attractive.
Beautiful. Does that conclude tonight?
I think so. If there's more questions, obviously it's a live show. You can drop them into the comments here, and we will answer them. If there's anything else you want us to cover on a Monday night, let us know, and we'll jump on it for you.
Beautiful. But yeah, I feel like we pretty well hit every question, or at least the common questions that we get when showing people through off the plan. To be honest, it can be a scary thing, but I hope we kind of touch base on everything that can be touched base on.
Yeah.
As Bill said, if you have any questions, drop them down, and we'll let you know.
Definitely makes it far less scary when you can
walk through,
or at least look at what you're buying, visualize it. There's an element of trust there with the agent, with the solicitor, that you're dealing with on both sides, and the builder. So studying that track record.
Yeah, and what we've seen as well, just touch base on that. They've got a showroom down there at Havana as well, which is fully furnished, all set up.
Yeah,
as if there was someone living in there, and the feedback we've had on that is really good. They've been able to kind of vision themselves in there rather than just looking at a bit of paper with a floor plan. So that's really helped us push them off the ground.
Well, there you go. We plugged one building there tonight, which is ready in about 6 weeks. We've got another one that's ready in about
mid next year. I think they're going
August next year. I'm trying to count out the months.
Probably like 8 to 9 months.
Yeah, we've got another one ready next year. So if you're looking at something now, give us a call.
Perfect.
Take care.